Welcome to this class. This is comparative education of national school system. EDUF 819. This is EDUF 819, comparative study of national school system. This is a master of education program, a master of education program. And being your first time to attend this course on YouTube channel, I want to assure you that you are not the only one who are using this channel, this YouTube channel to study. This YouTube channel is an educational channel. It is an educational channel that it caters for all educational needs from early childhood education to postgraduate, that is doctorate programs, doctorate educational programs. What am I saying? That learners of early childhood education use this channel for their educational needs. We also have those ones of primary school who use this educational channel for their educational need. We have high schoolers who use this same channel for their educational needs. We have undergraduate students right away from first year up to fourth year who use this channel. We have master's students, you included, who are using this program for their educational needs. We also have some students who are studying their doctorate programs. They are studying PhD programs using this channel. And that is why I want you to know that once you subscribe here, you will be selecting only those courses or only those lessons that relate to you. And for your sake, you will be selecting those ones that have a Dove 819. A Dove 819. That is comparative study of national school system. You have already been introduced into other courses by Professor Kafu, by Dr. Kamara, by Dr. Muyaka, among other lecturers. This is the first time you are meeting me, and I'll be taking you through EDUF 819, that is comparative study of national school system. I want to give you the purpose of this course. The purpose of this course. Now, I really don't know if you am loud and clear, and that is why I would want to come up again. I want to use my microphone so that you get me clearly. This is what I said, and I repeat that this educational channel caters for needs for learners right away, that is early childhood education, PP1, up to doctorate level, Doctor of Philosophy. That's what we are doing, PhD. So each time you visit this channel, remember to select the information that is good for you. And you'll be using Adobe 819, that is Master of Education, and the course is Comparative Study of National School Systems. Comparative Study of National School Systems. Now, I want to give you the purpose of this course. You have already been introduced to different courses by lecturers such as Professor Kafo, Dr. Kamar, Samuel Yeka, among other lecturers. And this is the first time I'm introducing this one, and I'm the one who will be taking you through this course. So, the purpose of this course, a DUF 819, Comparative Study of National School Systems, is to equip you, learners, with philosophical knowledge of ethics in relation to the education dimensions. That is the main purpose, to equip learners with philosophical knowledge of ethics in relation to education dimension. And remember, you are the learner. You are the learner. So by the end of this semester, by the end of this course, you are expected to discuss the concepts related to comparative education. You are expected to discuss concepts related to comparative education. Two, you will be expected to give a historical view of comparative education. You will be expected to give a historical view of comparative education. And lastly, you will be expected to discuss the philosophy, the philosophical underpinnings of philosophy of education. You will be expected to discuss the philosophical underpinnings of philosophy of education. The course content. We are going to do an analysis of the aims and philosophical underpinnings of various school systems, e.g., Marxist and Lenin's influence on the educational systems, comparative study of school curricula in the light of the underlying ideologies. Now, the teaching methodologies that we are going to use, I'll use lecture methods, shall have class discussions and also presentations, and lastly, you will be expected to visit the library and carry out research. The instructional materials and equipment that we are going to use, we are going to use books, whiteboards, handouts, overhead projectors, laptops, and LCD slides. The assessments, you are supposed to pay attention at this because it is different from the undergraduate one. The CAT or the continuous assessment test will carry 40 marks. The end of semester examination will carry 60 marks, giving you a total of 100 marks. At undergraduate level, the pass mark was 40. So anything below 40 was a fail. You were supposed to receive that paper. At master's level, the pass mark is 50. So anything below 50, you will have to receipt or to retake the course. So when you score 49, that one is E, you will be expected to receipt. So make sure that you get enough marks. Okay, that is all about course outline. That is all about course outline. Now, want to go straight away to our first uh, topic. And in the first topic, we want to look at the concepts related to comparative education. Concepts related to comparative education. Comparative education theories of policy and practice are constructionist, constructivist, constructivist. I want to spell the word constructivist. That is CONSTRUCTIVISM, constructivist. So, and that comparative education theories of policy and practice are one, constructivist, two, learner centeredness, three, differentiation theory, four, externalization, five, policy borrowing, another one, policy lending, policy lending, another one, peace education theory, peace education theory, and lastly, human rights education, human rights education. So in this course, we are going to look at those ones. So I want us to begin with the first one, that is constructivist. Constructivist. I want you people to know the difference between master's level learning and undergraduate level learning. At undergraduate level, we were the ones who were pumping in. The lecturers were pumping in information. The learners were getting lectures from lecturers. They get that information, they memorize and reproduce in their exams. But here at master's level, you are not receivers of information, but rather you are creators of information. You construct information. And that is why we are talking about constructivist. Construction, it comes from the word construction. So you will be part and parcel of construction of information. Because after masters, you'll be given opportunity to go and lecture to these undergraduate, diploma students, and others. So how will you get information? And for your information, here nobody will give you notes. Nobody will give you a textbook. You will have to come up with your own information. And that is why I encourage you to construct information with me. So I've told you that we want to start with this first one. I've told you that comparative education theories of policy and practice are constructivist, learner centeredness, differentiation or differentiation theory, externalization, policy borrowing, that is the fifth one. The sixth one, policy lending, and the seventh one is peace education theory, and lastly, number eight, human rights education. And now we are looking at the first one, constructivist. Constructivism is the theory that says learners construct knowledge rather than just passive or passively take in information. That when you go to class as a teacher, you are going to Form 1 class to teach number work or whole numbers. Let me say, as a mathematics teacher, you go there to teach number work. When you are going to Form 1 class to teach whole numbers. You don't go there with information and teach and give them numbers and teach them about numbers. You go there and allow learners to construct information about whole numbers with you. You don't give them information, or rather, they construct information with you. And that is what I'm asking you people to do. That this in this lesson, we are going to look at concepts that are related to comparative education. Concepts that are related to comparative education. So, these concepts, I'm not the one who is going to come with the concepts that are related to comparative education. Or rather, we are going to construct these concepts, or we are going to look for the concepts together with you. So, you are going to construct this information. As people experience the world and reflect upon those experiences, they build their own representations and incorporate new information in their pre-existing knowledge. It will be very wrong for a teacher to go to class, a teacher of biology, and think that he is the sole owner of the information and the learners are receivers of information. No, that is not according to constructivists. Constructivist theory believes that that information in biology about living things is supposed to be constructed by students. So it will be very wrong for me as your lecturer to imagine that you don't have any information about comparative education. No, you did comparative education in your fourth year or third year, depending with the university that you went to. You did that comparative education. You have also learned outside classroom, and you have information related to comparative education and international studies. So it will be wrong for me to assume that you don't know anything, that you don't have any information. No, you have it. And these other information that I want you to learn, that we expect you to learn, it will be very wrong for me to believe that you don't know and you cannot construct any information. So I want you to be partakers in the construction of this information. So, constructivist is a theory. Constructivism, constructivism is a theory that says learners construct knowledge. So you are going to construct knowledge. I've told you that this course is comparative education or comparative study of national school system. So the information in comparative study of national school system is not owned by me. I don't know if you know my name. I did not introduce myself. My name is Dr. Wanjala Kamala, because this is the first lesson I'm having with you. One or two of you may not be knowing my name. I'm Dr. Wanjala Kamala. So you can choose. If you want to, you can call me Dr. Wanjala or Dr. Hamala, depending on the name that you like. So I'm saying that I am not the owner of this information. I don't own information on comparative study of national school system. But you are going to construct this information so that next time after this course, when we give you a course to teach for 40 years in the University of Eldoret, you should be able to make your own information and teach them. You don't expect anybody to give you notes. You will have to construct your own information and teach. So when you go to that class to teach comparative education, don't imagine that you are the owner of information. Your learners also know So allow them to construct information with you. Give them questions, allow them to go and research, look for information, create information, come with it in class, let them discuss, let them present in class. So constructivism is a theory that says learners construct knowledge. So if a teacher is teaching science in grade 4, let learners construct information about insects, the body parts of insects, rather than the teacher looking for information and presenting that information to learners. That is according to constructivism. So as people experience the world and reflect upon those experiences, they build their own representations and incorporate new information into their pre-existing knowledge. So learners come to class with some knowledge. You arrange materials and class experiences so that learners can create and construct knowledge and add to what they have. So, what are the two theories of constructivism? There are two theories of constructivism. So, constructivism, learning theory, is divided into two. We have cognitive and social constructivism. Cognitive constructivism, that is one, and social constructivism, that is the other one. So we have two scholars, that is Jean Piaget and Jerome Branner. Jean Piaget and Jerome Branner's theories address cognitive constructivism, which focuses on developmental stages and learning styles. There are four concepts of constructivism. We have four concepts of constructivism. Constructivist classrooms rely on four key areas to be successful: shared knowledge between teachers and students, shared authority between teachers and students. Teachers act as a guide or facilitator. So we are saying that teachers and learners, teachers and students are supposed to share knowledge. When a teacher walks to class, that teacher is supposed to share knowledge with the students and allow students also to share knowledge with him or her. When I go to my fourth year class to teach comparative education, I share knowledge with them. There are things that they bring to class, they present to class when I'm seated listening to them. When I come to this class, there are things that you people will go out and look for and come and share with me. So this is the knowledge that teachers share with the students. A teacher is not a master of knowledge. When you go to class and behave like you are all knowing and your learners don't know anything, they need to receive information from you, you are wrong. When you walk to that class, learners have something. That is what you are supposed to know. They have some knowledge that you don't have. Allow them to share whatever they have with you. Share with them what you have. There is shared authority. You are not a master. You are not all knowing. You are not God. It is only God who is all knowing. No human being is all knowing. So you have some authority over learners and allow them also to exercise some authority. When you allow some of them to stand before their peers and present in class, they are also exercising some authority. Teachers act as guides and facilitators. Let me tell you, when you are going or you want to go to Iten, you will, depending to the place that you are standing, maybe you are in Eldoret town, you will have to stand somewhere and look for a signpost that will guide you, that will show you the direction to Iten. So once you have that signpost, it will guide you, it will show you that if you want to go to Iten, this is the route. So that is exactly what the teacher does. The teacher will act or will take the position of a signpost. The teacher will guide the learner or the student on what to do. You just guide. So teachers are guides. Teachers are facilitators of learning, but they are not owners of information. That is according to constructivism. So, what are the advantages of constructivism in education? One, it promotes students' agency. It develops advanced skills such as critical thinking, analysis, evaluation, and creation. So, constructivism will allow students to think rather than to memorize, to analyze whatever information they are given, other than to receive and accept everything the way they are given, to evaluate and make judgment about the information they are given, and to create information. That is above all to create information. So learners are part of creation of information. Constructivism encourages students to reflect on whatever they are given, to evaluate their work, to identify intermediary skills to acquire based on their needs. What are the 7 E's of constructivism? The 7 E's model consists of 7 phases of construction within the learning circle. We are saying that we have the 7 E's of constructivism, and this one includes elicit, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. That is the 6th one. And remember, we are not talking about the 6, we are talking about the 7. And lastly, to test. So the teacher is supposed to assist the learners to elicit thinking, to engage the learners, to assist the learners to explore, to assist the learners to explain, to help the learners to elaborate, to assist the learners to evaluate information, and also to test whatever they have learned. And that is what we are going to do. For example, in this lesson, I'm giving you very brief information. One of you, in your takeaway assignment, one of you will do a 50-page document on concepts related to comparative education. So I'll give you this, whatever I have, but you will have to elaborate on this: elicit, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, and test. You'll have to elaborate on this. because you are now a master's student, a master's student. But we don't say masters of education. We say masters or a master of education. We don't say masters of education. Master. You are a master. After acquiring this, you will be a master. You will receive a master of education, not a masters of education. I think I'm communicating. So I'll allow you to create this information. We'll have to elaborate on this. So, what are the disadvantages of constructivism? That is why teachers use variety of teaching methodology. But in CBC, we insist or we stress on learning methods rather than teaching methods. That is the difference between CBC and 844. CBC stresses on learning methods. 844 stresses on teaching methods. So, what are the disadvantages of constructivism? This one, it lacks the teacher preparation for constructivism classroom because you don't have to prepare everything the way the learner will receive because you don't know what the learner has. So when you go there, the learner could be having different information or more information than what you thought. Another disadvantage is all learners have different prior knowledge. All learners have different prior knowledge. So when you go to teach, you don't assume that all these learners are on the same level. They are on different pages. So you have to individualize that learning. And if you are having 40 learners in your class, how will you individualize? And that is why, I don't know, but this CBC thing, it has started on a wrong footing because CBC, a teacher is supposed to have very few learners, about 10 or 12, because different learners have different prior knowledge. So you have to individualize that teaching. But where you have 70 learners in a class, 60 learners in a class, surely, and each one of them has different prior knowledge, then how are you going to individualize? That is a disadvantage. Another disadvantage is that it requires ample time. I've really watched teachers teaching, especially those who are teaching the CBC classes right away from PP1 up to grade 7, and I sympathize with them. You look at the way they assess. You know, assessment is supposed to take place in class during the lesson, during the 40 minutes that you are teaching. You are supposed to assess every learner and be able to tell what that learner has achieved and what that learner hasn't achieved. How can you assess 50 learners within 40 minutes? And that is why most of the teachers, this is what most of the teachers are doing. They are just teaching, and at the end of the term, they take that assessment book, they sit in a certain corner and mark and present to parents. You cannot recall all those things because there are very many things that learners are supposed to learn within the term. You can't recall all those ones. So this CBC has started on a wrong footing. Those ones who will go out to carry out research on this, make sure that we report the right thing. We also have another disadvantage. This is technological failure or lack of technology. You see, one of the objectives of CBC education is what? Digital literacy. Are the facilities available? Are computers available? The answer is no. So there is technological failure or lack of technology in most of these classes. Another disadvantage of constructivism is additional disadvantage of constructivism. So during initial stages, students may experience confusion or frustration. How can teachers use constructivism in classroom? Applying constructivism in the classroom, the main focus in constructivism classroom is on student questions, students' interest, while building on what they already know. What am I saying? That this theory stresses that the teacher should focus students, on students' interest, on building on what students already know. When you go to class, you are not supposed to introduce a lesson from any point. First of all, establish what information do students have, first of all. And once you have established what students already know, you can now build on what they already know. The teacher is supposed to arouse interest in students, motivate the learners. You don't just go there and teach, but to arouse interest, to sustain interest, to motivate learners, to appraise them. The theory of constructivism also believes that the instructor's job is to encourage. When you go to class, you don't impart knowledge to the learner. No. According to constructivism, you don't go with information and impart it to learners. No. You don't prepackage knowledge and deliver to learners. No. When you go to that class, first of all, you establish what they know and you encourage them to create and build on what they already know. You arouse interest, you sustain interest, you appraise them, you encourage them to learn. That is according to constructivism. Now, learners, my dear learners, I now know only two names. I know Wasilwa Isaac and I also know Abigail. But if I don't know your name, you will inbox me and inform me your name so that I know all of you. These are very small class. You know, master's classes are not very large. So you will have to inbox me and tell me your name. So the first student to be given this, I think you will tell me who the class rep is, and one of you will be given this first topic. And what you'll be doing, you'll get some information from me, and I want you to expand, give us more information on this. You will expound on this document and give us about 50-page document that will be marked out of 40. Out of 40. Another student will be given another area, just like that, so that you become partakers in construction of information. Surely you can't be receivers of this information. With that, I want to thank you for having listened to me, for having attended this class. And remember, you will have an end term exam. Your exam will take 3 hours. In this one, you'll just have to write that exam. Mm. Mostly, we are going to set on application. So you must apply whatever knowledge we are giving you. You must be able to apply. With that, usually I don't allow my pictures to go out of my photos just because of one class that I had. That was a fourth year class 2023 comparative education University of Eldoret. I realized that they were misusing my photo, and that is why I'm usually hesitant to provide my photo or my image online. But given that this is the first time we are meeting, then I think it will be quite in order for you people to familiarize with that before. So that is that. We shall have another class tomorrow mm, at the time that I'll communicate with you later on. But otherwise, have a good evening. Have a good evening. Enjoy your supper and take care of your families. I know all of you have families. Bye for now.